Hey guys, and welcome to Gwent, the Witcher card game. My name is Jaggerous, and today I have a seasonal deck guide for you because it is the first day of the new season. So what is the new seasonal mode? Well, it is Seesaw. On the end of the player's turn, so on the end of your turn, your units with odd power get damaged by 1, and your units with even power get boosted by 1. And so for me, I think the best way to play this is to be able to manipulate your own unit's power, because it happens at the end of your turn, whereas if you're damaging your opponent's units, well, they have the opportunity to heal them, basically. And because of that, I think that Northern Realms is the perfect faction for this. So, if we jump into the deck builder, I will showcase my Seesaw list. So we're using an Uprising list. Uprising is just a powerful leader ability. It obviously gives you the ability to manipulate the points, because you can boost an allied unit by 1. And once the charges are up, we're spawning a Lyrian Scytheman. These will boost off by 1 for each boosted ally unit. And because we're doing a kind of boosting list, it just makes sense for this as our ability. I've gone for tactical advantage, 1 for protecting engines, but also because, again, you can use it to kind of manipulate the score level and trigger an extra boost. So we've got a lot of targeted draw in this deck because we're looking for certain things. We have Donimir of Troy. He is our defender, and if our opponent can't get through Donimir, then it's basically good game for that round, because we also run Vysogota. Now, Vysogota has Zeal. You play it on the range row, and it boosts the unit by 1, and it gains 1 charge whenever either player plays a card. So if this gets protected, you basically every turn have a lot of boosts, which you can target onto your units to manipulate their strength so that they are even, and thus will get a boost at the end of the turn. So that kind of makes sense. And so in order to find these cards, then obviously we have things like Amphibious Assault, which will allow us to play a Northern Realms unit from our deck with provision cost of 9 or less, such as Donimir or Vysogota, which we can actually find with John Natalis because it's a warfare card. And we also have Oneiromancy, which allows us to play any card from our deck. So although this is expensive, these tools are basically going to allow us to win the game. I've gone for some removal options as well. We've got Karathi Heatwave, so we can kind of interact with our opponent's board a little bit and remove their tool units, along with Prince Anseis, because if we boost him right up, then obviously he's going to start dueling because of that inspired effect. So we can boost him up. We can also use him for tool removal. Then we have Nenneke and Priscilla, and this is kind of an alternate to Vysogota. So let's say you're playing Vysogota and Donimir of Troy of 1 round. Well, in the other round, you maybe want to play Nenneke, player in the range row, and boost unit by 1, and she has 4 charges. And then Priscilla allows us to give a unit 1 charge every round. Similarly, we're also then running the Aretuza Adepts, which allow us to give charges every round, and we're running the Kaedweni Seargents, which boost an allied unit by 1. And these can also be used in a similar vein to Nenneke and Priscilla. Then we have Anna Strenger, and we have these boosty engines. So Anna, every ally turn on turn end, boosts the unit to the right by 1. If she's boosted, we boost left and right. We have Egmund, who acts similarly to a Temerian Drummer, but also if he's on the melee row, has this option of dealing 3 damage. We have 2 Temerian Drummers, we talked about them. We also have 2 Boiling Oils. These are going to give us alternates for John Natalis, so if we do draw into Amphibious Assault, then you want to have other warfare cards in your list. 3 is usually the sweet spot, so if you have something that target draws, say a warfare card, a nature card, a tactic, if you deck build with 3, usually you won't end up with a bricked John Natalis. 2's a little bit too close. So then we have our Tridam Infantry, just to put boosts and deal damage. So this is a nice target to dump boosts on. We have a couple Lyrian Scythemen. Because we're doing so much boosting, we should get decent value out of these 4 provision cards. And a couple of Radovid's Royal Guards. Now these, obviously you play them on the range row, and because of formation, they'll then boost up to 4. And then at the end of the turn, they boost up to 5 because they are even. So these are a really good way of getting boosts and protecting units, and also giving them armor, which means if they are taking damage, say from the Seesaw effect, that it's not too large. So that is the list. And without further ado, I'm going to jump into a seasonal game, and I'll showcase this deck in action for you. Okay, so we have a lot of bronze in hand here. In terms of the mulligan for round 1, bronze isn't necessarily bad if we have synergies, like we have Nenneke and Priscilla. I'm going to mulligan the Lyrian Scytheman, I think, and one of the Kaedweni Seargents, and we found Oneiromancy, which isn't too bad. Okay, so let's see what our opponent's doing. They are playing Svalblod, Armored Drakars, so this is like his own boosting engine, for example. And I think for now, we're kind of okay to just allow that to happen. We don't have Amphibious Assault, unfortunately. Which is a little bit annoying because it means that if we want to draw it, we'd have to draw it with Oneiromancy, which is kind of awkward. He's using leader charges on his Drakkar. Not entirely sure why he did that. He used 2 leader charges and achieved nothing, but you know. We're not going to judge people. We're not going to judge people. So I think what we'll do is we will Oneiromancy John Natalis, play him on the melee row, into Amphibious Assault, like so. And then we have a choice, and I think we will go for Egmund. We could have gone for a drummer, actually, but we'll go for Egmund for now. Pop him down there and generate an engine. And you'll see it's slightly confusing, like, he boosted up by 1, he boosted up by 2, because he boosted because of the Seesaw effect, and then Egmund. So the way that these kind of sequence is a little bit weird sometimes. But with that said, we can now sort of set up our drummer next to Egmund. And then we'll just end our turn. And this, we'll see if they get damaged or boosted. Yeah, so they got damaged and then boosted, so it is a little bit weird, but it seems like Natalis at the moment is getting 2 points per turn, and Egmund should be getting 2 points per turn. So what we need to do now is maybe try and protect our drummer. I possibly also could have Boiling Oiled the Svalbard Priest. That probably would have been correct too. But we didn't, so it's fine. Okay, so he is not using leader charges. So I think at this point, let's just do that. Just remove that as an option. And I'm actually going to use 1 leader charge on here. Actually, that was dumb. Because it's going to boost up by 1, but then on the next turn it's going to go down by 1. Although if we play the Kaedweni Seargent, actually, we can then make that a 6. And make it quite healthy. Okay, so she sigged it. So that's fine. We'll just Boiling Oil again. Oh, he decided to use a leader charge. But it's Berserk too. Oh, that's a big misplay. Oh, never mind. I thought it was a misplay because I could just kill him, but actually, I tell a lie. I tell a lie. Okay, so let's play Kaedweni Seargent. We'll boost this to 6. And we'll just float the other boost for the time being. If he dies, he dies. It's kind of annoying because then we'd have to find a new engine for the Adept, but it doesn't look like our opponent's really doing much with our side of the board, at least. And our drummer is looking very healthy. Okay, so he's got a Draco Turtle. So actually what we could do now is slot the Tridam Infantry in next to the Temerian Drummer. The problem is if the damage hits the Draco Turtle, that's kind of annoying for us. All things considered. So maybe we just play the Aretuza for now. We'll play the Kaedweni Seargent boost on the drummer. And end our turn. We're not ahead, but because we're going second... Oh, we are ahead. I tell a lie. We're not ahead, she says, but then gets 8 million points from engines. We're not ahead. Oh, just what am I on about? So we can kill this. This is, like, not a bad thing to kill. So let's do this. Let's do this. I don't know how much I care. That's the issue. Like, she's damaging this. We maybe just play the Tridam and just get another engine on the go. And at this point, we haven't even played Priscilla and Nenneke, which is quite good. And he's getting 2 boosts per turn, which means he's dealing 2 damage per turn. So we're almost at a position here where I actually feel like we could probably just pass. Like, is our opponent going to be ahead here? I mean, we're currently ahead. So they would have to play 1 more card. We would get 2 card advantage. Or we could just win on even. And I guess winning on even isn't really too bad either. So I guess we can just kill this. I think that's fine. And then I guess we'll just play this as well. And then we will boost... Well, we'll give this a charge. Oh, wait, that's a boost. I'm being dumb. I gave this a charge and then boosted this. I mean, it's fine because I got them the wrong way around, but it's fine. It's fine. We are ahead. We are quite far ahead. Yeah, our opponent has decided that they're kind of done with our nonsense. Which is fair enough. This is kind of absolutely silly. And you don't have to worry too much about the odds and evens. Like, obviously try and make things even. But sometimes the like boosting and the thing, it gets a bit weird. But you should have enough points just in general. Okay, so there's Amphibious Assault, there's Oneiromancy, and a Scytheman. So one thing we would love to find here is Defender. Or Vysogota works too. So we can actually Oneiromancy our Defender. We could just pass, but I think we can afford to bully our opponent this round, to be honest with you. So let's go Oneiromancy, Defender. And then this also gives us information, you know, if he has a Purify, it's worth being aware. Play on the range row, because these are going on the range row. And then end our turn. And we'll see how our opponent manages to deal with that. I maybe should have used a leader charge actually on this. And the reason I should have done that is just because it means that it lost its shield, which is slightly annoying, because the shield is actually pretty useful. We will also use one leader charge on Vysogota, just to, you know, protect him a wee bit, so that he doesn't go down to 2, just in case he has some sort of row effect or whatever. Not really something we want to deal with. Okay. So we can still duel this, is the thing, so this is actually kind of fine. So let's play Priscilla now on the back row. Because then we can give charges to Vysogota. Obviously manipulate this to being on 10, and then we'll just float the other charge and end our turn. So these guys are boosting, and now we're basically using Vysogota as a way of keeping everything on even points here. I'm wondering if it's worth going for a Tridam. We could go for Anna. That's our other option. Like, potentially we go Amphibious Assault Anna. I do think we're likely to win here. Tridam deals damage, though. Anna's 2 points per turn. Tridam kind of equates to the same thing. There's probably one or the other strategy that's optimal, but dunno. I dunno. I mean, I guess if we take Anna, we're kind of risking things a wee bit in terms of... Oh, well, they just forfeited. I was going to say we're risking things in terms of if they do manage to survive the round, we're top decking into bronze, but as it is, we just too owed. I'll send a GG. Okay, guys, I'm going to jump into another game now, and I'll showcase this Seesaw list once more in action for you guys.
Don't make me laugh.
So we're back in the mulligan once again. We are against Lockdown, which we lose uprising, but it's not too bad. The only thing is Nilfgaard tends to have a bit more control. So we've got a Kaedweni and we've got an Aretuza Adept. I think we mulligan the Scytheman into a Tridam. I think we also mulligan one Tridam into a Royal Guard. And potentially one Adept. Because we only have one unit with charges, so if this dies, we have nothing to give charges to. Although we could find something with Oneiromancy. And we got Vysogota. Okay. So we are going first, and I think this is the opener here. We play the Radovid Royal Guard, and you can see here it's now gained the boost. We end our turn, it boosts once more. So it's a little bit trickier for our opponent to necessarily deal with it. Okay, so they've gone for Masquerade Ball. So we are just going to straight Heatwave this. And this is why Karathi Heatwave in the list is really nice. It means if this is a double ball list, then we have completely ruined their strategy. So, boop, easiest play of my life. This is going to lose 1 point, but that's fine. It stays boosted at the end of the day. And now our opponent realizes that they're playing double ball and that their entire strategy has been ruined by one card. So yeah, that's why I like some control in this list. Like, you have a lot of boosts, but you have things like the Anseis, the Boiling Oil, and the Heatwave just to mess with your opponent's strategy to an extent. So speaking of messing with our opponent's strategy, let's just also Heatwave the Thirsty Dame, I think. We're not really setting up a board for our opponent to interact with, which I guess is kind of problematic for them. They could pass here and we'd have to play another card, but I think that's still fine. Because we can then go into a long final round. Against this deck is kind of nasty. Okay, so now they're starting to commit things. That's a big play. So we'll see what gets pulled. It's risky as well. Because there's nothing good to poison on my side of the board either. That's their other issue. You know, they want to poison cards, but we haven't really played anything worth poisoning at this stage. So let's play the Kaedweni Seargent.
I killed
We'll give him some armor. We will... Do we use the boosts? I think for now, we're just actually going to just float these. And I know, again, you might be thinking Jaggerous, but you're not ahead. But we can always dry pass round 2 and get back up to 10 cards for round 3. So it's actually fine. We've really not spent anything at this stage. You know, we've played... I mean, we played Heatwave, but I think it was worth it. We played Boiling Oil. Yeah, we haven't really committed much. Okay, so this is slightly annoying because of obviously the poison effects. I'm just going to see if we have anything in our deck that would really deal with it. No, nothing we can efficiently use to deal with it, which is fine. So I think for now, what we will do is we'll allow this to be poisoned. And we will play the Tridam, or do we play the Aretuza? Maybe we play the Adept. We could just Anseis this as well. I don't think it's worth it. Let's do this.
Awaiting your orders.
If we boost this, we make it a poison target, I suppose. And it's a spy, which would play into Vincent. So I think now we end our turn. Again, we've got one more card to play. So we don't have to be ahead until we're at 4 cards. And I'm confident that I can get ahead at that stage, right?
Beaters forward. Let the hunt begin.
Did this not get poisoned? I think this is poisoned. I'm very confused at this stage. So let's just play the Aretuza Adepts. We're just going to keep playing bronze cards, basically.
Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans.
Do I want to play the TA here? Yeah, I'm going to play the TA here, I think. Let's just do that. Not entirely sure what happened with the poisoning. Wasn't something already poisoned? Am I being dense? Let me see. Rock Tosser. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I thought that this was going to die and this was going to get poisoned, but maybe I missed something. Okay, so how greedy are we going to go here? We've got Oneiromancy. So we are comfortable to play Oneiromancy this turn. Maybe into... Let's play Oneiromancy into John Natalis. I like that because it thins the deck and it makes our draws really good for next round. Yeah, there's John Natalis. I have to find him. I was like, where is he? Into John Natalis. Into Amphibious Assault. We could get a second Tridam. And we could also get a Drummer. I don't hate the Tridam. We could get Egmund. Let's get the Tridam.
To arms.
Let's do this. Let's boost this. Shoot our opponent full of holes. And I mean, now we're getting to the point where we have lots of good poison targets on the board. But, I mean, it's a boost list. So we're always going to eventually reach that point. And our opponent has played loads of poison already. So they passed. We passed. Round 1. So, the question then becomes, do we try and bleed? They're playing a lot of poison. They haven't really played all that much. We have a very strong hand here. And if they don't have an answer for Donimir, then we just win. That is the thing. So I am tempted. I do love a 2-0. So maybe we just try it. So if we play... I'm just trying to decide whether I want to play Oneiromancy for Donimir or Amphibious Assault. I think we want to play Oneiromancy. And then we'll see what our opponent does. This is where we risk losing a card, though. So maybe we should have just gone into a long round.
And how you address them.
Perhaps that would have been wiser. Perhaps. Yeah, so there's Vincent. So at this point we lose our card, basically. Is that bad? Probably. But we got Vincent out of him. So this is where it's a little bit scary, actually. So maybe we just take the pass. Because I don't think we're going to regain our card particularly easily with this hand. So taking the pass here is okay. It was a risk. I did take a risk there, but like he would have Vincented my Donimir in the next round anyway. And at least here we tried to roll the dice to see if he didn't have the Vincent. Because if he didn't have the Vincent, then we could have gotten Vysogota to survive for one turn. That's really bad for him. Okay, I like these top decks. I like these top decks. I'm going to kick the Sergeant double drummer. What would we like? Well, we have access to Priscilla. Do we? Yeah, we have access to Priscilla because she's 9 provisions. So I'm actually just going to work with this hand, I think. We've got a lot of good engines. And I think we maybe just open Nenneke. The problem is if he can kill her, that's slightly problematic. And we don't have a good way to boost, so if we play Priscilla... Actually, if we played Priscilla back row, she'd go to 6, and then she'd go to 7. So that's probably the opener. I think that's correct. Well, that's a dead card.
Now you see me.
Wow. So he played -1 point. So we basically negated the card differential. So let's do this. Pop this down.
Show him what real art is.
And so now we can give charges, which is fun. And then we can see if our opponent has a good way to deal with this. We can also get our drummer set up. The drummer's he's slightly vulnerable. That's my only kind of concern with playing the drummer. If we play Egmund, actually, he's less vulnerable. If we play Egmund on the back row, we lose out on the melee damage. But I think it's still fine. Because he's more survivable, and then we can play Vysogota in the gap, basically, and boost him up. Or we can play Anna. Or we can play Nenneke. So that's not going to kill Egmund. So now I think we just pop Anna in here. Oh, unfortunately. So there, unfortunately, Anna triggered. Egmund triggered. No, Egmund didn't trigger. So the damage triggers before the effects by the looks of things. But we can now pop Vysogota down here, for example. So this poison is kind of annoying. Because I don't really want Anna to get poisoned. I would rather a drummer got poisoned. We lose out on a boost here. Actually, I would rather Nenneke got poisoned, because if we play Nenneke, we can then boost this a few times. And we'll do that as well. And then it's like, well, these are poisoned. But you can't see the poison? There's like a visual issue? Is he going to grab the Anna? That's fine. So now, let's play the drummer. And then we play Vysogota, then we play the drummer, then we play Anseis, I think. Or we play Anseis. Ooh, this is... No, we could, yeah, because we can play Anseis melee and boost him with Vysogota if Vysogota survives. And if he doesn't, it's just 4 damage. Okay, so I guess he's maybe going to play Anna. I don't think that's super great this late, because he doesn't have a way of boosting her in the same way as we do. So now we play Vysogota. Boost this. We'll see what our opponent does. I think a second rot also would be kind of annoying. I don't think he has a good way of dealing with the Vysogota. No, he doesn't. So he can poison one of the 9s. I don't think he's realized that maybe these have gotten poisoned. Unless Rot Tosser got changed, then I didn't realize it. No, they are poisoned. They're definitely poisoned. Okay, so let's go... We could go Anseis back row. Or we go Anseis front row, boost him with Vysogota up to 6, kill this. And then just play a sad drummer. Nah.
Army's a waste of time.
So let's boost this. Let's boost this. I think we're pretty far ahead. Oh yeah, we win. It's fine. Dear. So it wasn't double ball, but it didn't really matter. They didn't have enough control for all of our engines, and the poison was taking too long. So even though we took a risk playing a card, it turned out okay because of the Mage Infiltrator and stuff. But yeah, that is my Seesaw list. If you do like the list, maybe leave a like. So if you're looking for wins in seasonal mode, that is the way that I would do it. You can always subscribe to the channel for more content, and you can follow me on Twitter at Jaggerous. Content's going to be a little bit slower at the moment. I've started a university course, so I just have to kind of manage my time a little bit. That's why it's been a bit quiet. But I'll try and make videos for you guys as and when I can. Beyond that, have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next video.